Heather Kinzie with the Strive Group. I'm joining you today from Anchorage, Alaska. And welcome to Opening Ideas, where we open hardware, we open software, but we also open minds. So today we're talking with Logitech. And unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of this organization. Just look to your left, look to your right, look at your mouse, look at your webcam, look at your keyboard. Logitech has been around and has been providing peripherals that helps us use our PCs and our laptop and helps us work more efficiently. They've been around for decades, and we are honored to have them here today. Specifically, we've got Drew Thomas visiting with us today. So, Drew, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, thanks, Heather. I'm Drew Thomas. I'm a channel account manager for Logitech. I actually manage our education channel. So anything K-12 or higher ed that falls under our group that we help manage from an end user basis or a reseller basis.
Excellent. Excellent. And specific, the K-12 audience is who we're talking to today, or, and certainly we might be talking to others, but that's who we're definitely focusing on this quarter are our educators of kindergarten through 12th grade. And so what we're opening up today is hardware. And what Drew has so kindly sent me is a Logitech Crayon, and the Crayon is specific to an iOS device, or the Logitech Pen, which is specific to the interactive Chromebook. And those two types of devices are around our K-12 schools around the country, around the globe. So our students are using these devices, not just in a remote learning situation, but in the classroom situations as well, and obviously in hybrid classroom environments. And so, as I said, Drew was nice enough to send me some. And so the great unveiling. So here is the Crayon. Love the colors, Drew. Very bright. Can't lose that in my backpack. And then the pen is yellow. So my first thought when I met Drew and when he was telling me about the styluses was, well, what's wrong with my finger? And so that's really your first question, Drew, is I know that iPads and interactive Chromebooks work with your finger because my kid has one and I have one. And I know that my phone works with my fingers, and I've been using that with my phone for probably longer than some of our audience has. So what's wrong with our finger? Why do we need pens?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I think there's a big difference between a learning application and scrolling through Instagram or TikTok that people use nowadays. I think it goes back to providing students or learners out there the best solutions to use the applications that they're provided. So we wouldn't hand Picasso finger paint. We'd give him a fine brush and allow him to do his magic and do the Sistine Chapel, right? If that reference is even correct.
I'm gonna give you that because I remember clearly trying to, like, do DocuSign, from my phone or even from my iPad
Sure.
and try to make my signature look decent. I'm gonna get you that. And I also remember back in the day, back before I had an iPhone, I had a BlackBerry. And the BlackBerries, I don't know if you remember this, but the BlackBerries had a little stylus. Now, I always lost the darn thing, which was unfortunate, but the stylus really helped me manipulate stuff on that itsy bitsy little screen that the BlackBerry gave me. So I can appreciate the Sistine Chapel and giving me the right paintbrush. I can appreciate that.
Sure, and
Um,
I agree with you. Every time I've ever signed a DocuSign with my finger, I think, "Wow, that looks nothing like my actual signature. How would they
right,
know I did
right,
that?"
right, right. So let's talk about then why this is good for students, not just giving them the right tool, but what are some other benefits? Like what types of applications or what types of students would benefit most from using what looks like a pen or a crayon or a pencil?
Our Logi Pen, we'll start with that one. This is really positioned, uh, early grade, so all the way up to 5th grade, but really those grades where you're learning handwriting, learning how to use handwriting to communicate. Pen and paper and pads in the classroom are really a thing of the past. Now, with the push to one throughout these districts, throughout our whole country, each student really has a Windows and a Chrome or an Apple device that they use for their individual use. They take home with them. That becomes their learning tool. So we really wanted to design solutions that allow them to better use that solution while they learn. So the Logi Pen, this is something that's designed, as you can see, as you're holding yours, we have this trilobal shape. So we all remember learning handwriting. For some of us, it was a long time ago, but we all had that little rubber thing that slid on the end of the pencil, and it taught you how to properly hold a pen or a pencil. And that's something that we learn as an early grade. So we wanted to make sure we incorporated that shape. Now, the other great thing about a trilobal design is it won't easily roll off a desk.
Ah,
So as we all know,
yeah,
these
good
desks are
point.
slanted, and that can be really distracting in a classroom. Logi Pen and the Crayon, they both are designed for student use and both designed to not easily roll.
So when my kids were little, they had like a fatter crayon versus, like the skinny crayons, that comes in the big box with the sharpener on the end. And I remember they felt really proud when they graduated to the skinny crayon. But for a time being, they had sort of the fatter crayon. So has Logitech sort of thought about these? Because these aren't as skinny as pens, right? I mean, I could compare them to the pens on my desk. They're definitely a little bit bulkier than that, but they're also not fat and chunky like a chalk, like a piece of chalk. So tell me the rationale behind that.
When we designed these products, we really wanted to keep a shape and size that you could still holster in certain cases that are provided to these students as well. So a huge thing with these is they're not going to be tethered to the device. So we really want to allow them a size that can still slide within a pen holder. And a lot of our iPad cases, it comes with a place to harness the crayon. We had to go with a shape that was the correct shape for the student, but we really wanted to keep the size consistent with something where they could use to put it away and not lose it when they're not using it.
Is it, once lost, then, like if someone else finds it in another classroom, can it be recycled to another device, or does it just become this, this stylus that is not attached to anything anymore and it gets thrown away?
If I'm an instructor and I'm going to from student to student and writing on their individual Chromebook, there's no Bluetooth pairing. As soon as you touch it to the Chromebook, it senses it and you're able to use it immediately.
So you mean the teacher could have their own
Right.
device and annotate on all of the students' devices no matter what?
Sure. And that's huge for keeping a clean and safe environment. Where do you think these things go when they're not writing? Like any of us, it's probably going in maybe in a mouth or
That just
maybe
grosses me
somebody
out, Drew.
sneezed on it. You want to have your own device.
Are these like lifetime use? I mean, certainly they're battery operated, they're limited in some way. So how long do they last and how do I charge them?
For the Crayon, one full charge will actually last 7.5 hours of use. The Crayon uses a iPhone charger to actually charge the Crayon.
Right?
For the Logi Pen, it uses USB-C. It actually has a little indicator light at the top there too when it gets down to 10%. So you know when you need to throw it back on the charger. 30 seconds to charge will actually give you 1 hour of use.
Boy, I wish my iPad could do that because my long flights would would really be more enjoyable.
Right?
That's amazing.
Being able to quickly throw it on a charge, accidents do happen. People might come to class with a dead Logi Pen, and being able to
Right.
quickly throw it on a charger and being able to use it for a whole class, it's really not going to be disruptive.
Are you suggesting that perhaps teachers would have sort of like Logitech little charging stations and there'd just be a bunch of pens like lined up there like soldiers getting a quick charge for the art class?
I think for early grades, we'll see that more.
Okay.
It's pretty common in a classroom to see charging cards, even lockable charging cards in these
Mhm.
classrooms.
Certainly Logitech has thought about this from a teacher's perspective. Why would they be excited if their students were using these types of styluses?
So first, I think it's important to call out that um, there are other USI styluses out there. One thing, it's going to be compatible with all the different manufacturers. So I know the past 2 years have been a little crazy for school districts. There's been chip component shortages. There's been people have gotten outside of their standards. Maybe they have always bought Lenovo and they started buying HP, or they always bought Dell and they bought Acer this time
Right.
around. So knowing that our solution is going to work on any of these different manufacturers' devices, that's a huge selling point for us. It's military drop tested. It's moisture resistant. If Tommy wants to put the pen in his mouth when he's not using it and he
Right.
somehow accidentally drills down the back of this where it's
Lord
charged,
help them.
Yeah, it's not gonna mess up the device. It's still gonna charge. It's still gonna work. It's still gonna be able to be used.
I'd love to be in that testing room, Drew, when the slobber happened. Like, it reminds me of the dog from Turner and Hooch. I don't know if you ever watched that movie with Tom
Oh,
Hanks, it was,
yeah.
I think, in the '80s. But, I mean, that would be a true test, right? To give
Uh-huh.
to give Hooch the pen and see if it still works on your device afterwards.
Definitely. I used to have a Saint Bernard. I know how much they slobber, so yeah.
That's pretty funny. Well, so is it bite proof? That would be the next question. If it's military tested, does that mean that a child can bite on this?
Students, they do crazy things with their anything they're given, basically. We see it. We back all of our education solutions with a 3-year warranty, and we happily replace when a student eats through a cord or anything like that. I know it sounds kind of wild to say, but we've seen everything. We actually sell spare parts that we can provide school districts that allow them to do simple maintenance out in the field, so they don't have to come back to a service center or anything like that. And anything that can't be fixed in the field, it is covered under that 3-year pro support warranty. So you're going to have a high level of service that comes beyond the product as well.
Do you see a future where there's a canister of these Logitech styluses that just become this natural part of the classroom?
Oh, sure. I actually already see different school districts throughout the country already preparing. They are buying USI touchscreen Chromebooks that might already come with a USI stylus with that Chromebook, and they're
Mhm.
buying our Logi Pen as backups for when those are lost.
So why Logitech? Like, why would anybody care about the Logitech stylus? Why is it better? Why is it comparable? Why is it more efficient? Why is it unique?
That's a great question, and obviously, these are well respected manufacturers that are also putting out their own USI styluses. I will say that our education team designed this product, so this is really designed for students, like I mentioned, with the 3-year warranty, with the quick charge. Mistakes do happen. It's covered. Whether they forget to charge it, whether it's broken, can be repaired in the field, and really designed the slobber proof, the rugged design, military grade, drop tested. It's designed for students and the rough use that it's going to see out there in the learning environment. We were actually one of the pioneer partners that worked with Google in their certified Works with Chromebook initiative. We have over 50 peripherals that are part of this certified Works with Chromebook program that are certified at the OS level. So it doesn't matter what the manufacturer is, as long as it's Chrome OS, it's going to work and it's going to be plug and play.
So I appreciate you joining us and for, just offering such candid and insightful information about the two styluses. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Heather, for having me on Opening Ideas. This has been a pleasure for Logitech and myself to be part of this. And if you need any more information from Logitech specifically, you can reach out to educationus@logitech.com. But I would encourage you to reach out to your contact at the Chariot Group, and they can also help you with any questions.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope that you found this time useful and valuable in learning about the styluses from Logitech. If you want additional information about the two styluses, you can just look in the comments. We've put some information about both the crayon and the pen in the comments below. And you can always contact the Chariot Group. And the Chariot Group information is right here on the video. And they will help you really, stock up your school or your classroom with these devices. So thanks for joining us again. Until next time.